The photograph arrived at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory on a Tuesday morning in March 2023. An intern noticed it first, a single frame from the James Webb Space Telescope, buried in terabytes of infrared data. Within 6 hours, the building was locked down. Within 12, 3 intelligence agencies had cordoned off the server room. The image showed something 13.5 billion light-years away, something that shouldn't exist according to every physics model humanity has constructed. A structure geometric, massive beyond comprehension, and it appeared to be looking back. If you've ever wondered what secrets hide in the absolute darkness between galaxies, hit that like button and subscribe. Prepare yourselves. We begin. You need to understand something fundamental about deep space before we go further. When you look at the night sky, you're not seeing space as it exists now. You're seeing history. Light from the nearest star beyond our sun takes 4 years to reach your eyes. Light from the Andromeda Galaxy departed when anatomically modern humans were still sharing the planet with Neanderthals. When James Webb peers into the cosmic deep field, it's not exploring distance, it's excavating time itself. This creates a peculiar problem for astronomers. Every observation is archaeological. Every measurement is a fossil record. And fossils, as any paleontologist will tell you, lie. The structure appeared in a region designated JDES GS Z13-0, a cluster of early galaxies forming roughly 325 million years after the Big Bang. At that epoch, the universe was supposed to be a cosmic soup. Hydrogen, helium, trace lithium, nothing more complex. No heavy elements, no carbon or oxygen or iron. Certainly no structures requiring organized matter, and by extension, engineering. Yet there it was. The initial report described it as an artifact of data compression, or instrumental noise, standard protocol. When telescopes capture images contradicting fundamental cosmology, scientists don't immediately announce paradigm shifts. They check the instruments, they rerun calibrations, they examine every conceivable source of error because extraordinary claims demand extraordinary scrutiny. Dr. Sarah Chen led the investigation. Astrophysicist, MIT graduate, 16 years analyzing deep field imaging. She'd seen noise before, cosmic rays scarring detector arrays, diffraction spikes masquerading as objects, gravitational lensing warping background sources into impossible shapes. This wasn't noise. The structure measured approximately 847 million light-years across. For scale, the Milky Way spans about 100,000 light-years. This object could contain 8,000 galaxies our size, arranged edge to edge. Its geometry suggested intentionality, 12 primary vertices connected by what appeared to be luminous filaments, each filament perfectly straight across distances that should make straightness impossible. Space-time itself curves over such spans. Nothing natural maintains geometric precision across hundreds of millions of light-years, unless it's designed to. Chen ran spectral analysis. The filaments emitted radiation across wavelengths that shouldn't coexist: radio, microwave, infrared, visible, ultraviolet, X-ray, gamma, simultaneously. In nature, emission spectra tell you what something is made of. Hydrogen glows in specific frequencies. Carbon has signature lines. This structure's spectrum looked like someone had combined every periodic element, then added frequencies corresponding to materials that don't exist in standard physics. She brought in Dr. Marcus Webb from CERN, particle physicist, specialist in exotic matter theories. He looked at the data for 40 minutes without speaking. When he finally responded, he asked a single question. "Have you calculated the energy requirement?" Chen had. The structure emitted roughly 10 to the 52nd watts continuously. For comparison, Our sun outputs 10 to the 26th watts. This thing burned with the power of 10 septillion stars, except it wasn't burning anything. There was no fuel signature, no waste heat dispersion pattern, no entropy increase. It violated thermodynamics as fundamentally as a perpetual motion machine, except this one apparently worked. It's converting vacuum energy, Webb said. Not a hypothesis, a statement. Vacuum energy, the quantum fluctuation of space-time itself, particles and antiparticles winking in and out of existence at the Planck scale. Physicists have known about it since the 1940s. They've also known it's effectively untouchable. The energy density is there, roughly 10 to the 113 joules per cubic meter, but extracting it would require technology so advanced it borders on magic, or sufficiently developed science indistinguishable from it. Chen sent the findings up the chain. NASA Director, National Science Foundation, Department of Defense. The response came back within hours. Classify everything, expand the observation window, and for God's sake, don't publish. But you can't classify something visible to anyone with access to Webb's public data archive. By late April, amateur astronomers had found it. Forums lit up, threads multiplied across Reddit, 4chan, specialized astrophysics boards. Most dismissed it as pareidolia, the human tendency to see patterns in randomness, faces in clouds, structures in noise. A few didn't. One of those was Dr. Yuki Tanaka, radio astronomer at the Atacama Large Millimeter Array in Chile. She'd spent 2 decades listening to the universe's radio whispers, pulsars, magnetars, the cosmic microwave background. When she pointed ALMA's 66 dishes toward JDES GSZ 13-0, she detected something that made her hands shake while typing the report. A signal repeating. 1.42 gigahertz. That frequency is significant. It's the hydrogen line, the most common emission in the universe, the wavelength hydrogen atoms naturally broadcast. It's also the frequency SETI researchers have monitored for decades because any technological civilization would know it. It's universal, a cosmic calling card. But this wasn't natural hydrogen emission. The pattern repeated every 11.7 seconds, with precision measured to nanoseconds. Natural phenomena don't keep time that precisely. Pulsars drift, atomic processes jitter. This signal was cleaner than GPS satellites, steadier than atomic clocks. Tanaka ran the signal through pattern recognition algorithms, no match to known astrophysical processes. She ran it through linguistic analysis software designed for SETI, no match to any communication theory, no encoding, no modulation, no information content beyond the timing itself. Just a pulse, every 11.7 seconds, for 13.5 billion years. Think about that duration. When that signal began, the universe was barely out of its infancy. Earth wouldn't form for another 9 billion years. Life on Earth wouldn't emerge for another 10 billion. Modern humans wouldn't evolve for another 13.4999 billion. The signal has been pulsing longer than galaxies have existed in their current forms. Longer than stars have fused elements heavier than helium. It's a lighthouse, or a warning beacon. The distinction might not matter. Space, despite its name, isn't empty. Between galaxies lies the intergalactic medium, a sparse fog of hydrogen and helium, roughly 1 atom per cubic meter. Not much, but multiplied across cosmic volumes, it becomes significant. This medium glows faintly, illuminated by ancient starlight and energetic radiation from supermassive black holes. In September 2023, the European Space Agency's Euclid telescope mapped this glow across a survey area covering 3 billion light-years. The data revealed structure in the intergalactic medium, vast filaments of gas connecting galaxy clusters, sheets and voids, creating the cosmic web astronomers have known about since the 1980s. Except the Webb looked wrong. Dr. Johan Christensen, cosmologist at the Niels Bohr Institute, noticed the anomaly while processing the survey data. The filaments connecting galaxy clusters showed thickness variations that shouldn't exist. Gravitational collapse produces fairly uniform structures. These filaments pulsed, thick regions alternating with thin regions in a pattern that repeated every 250 million light-years. He ran simulations, dark matter distribution, baryonic physics, gravitational dynamics. None reproduced the pattern. He brought in Dr. Maria Santos, specialist in large-scale structure formation. She ran different simulations. Same result. The pattern didn't match natural formation. It matched something else. Santos had spent a sabbatical year studying biosemiotics, the theory that life creates information-rich patterns distinguishable from random processes. Tree rings, DNA sequences, neural networks, all show characteristic structures. Self-organization leaves signatures. She applied those algorithms to the cosmic Webb data. Positive match, 89% confidence. The intergalactic medium showed signs of self-organization at scales larger than galaxy superclusters. Something was shaping the matter distribution across billions of light years. Not through force or construction, but through information, patterns that propagated, evolved, and maintained coherence across cosmic time. "It's not a structure," Santos wrote in her initial report. "It's a network, active, processing." The implications crashed through physics like a wrecking ball through tissue paper. If the cosmic Webb functioned as an information network, it implied processing capability, computation. And computation at those scales meant processing speeds and information densities that made human supercomputers look like abacuses. But what was it computing? Dr. Chen connected the dots in November. She overlaid the JADES GSZ 13-0 structure with Santos's cosmic Webb maps. The 12 vertices of the ancient structure aligned precisely with major cosmic Webb nodes, the largest galaxy cluster intersections in the observable universe. Perfect correlation. 13 billion years of cosmic expansion, gravitational evolution, countless perturbations, and the alignment held to within measurement error. That's not coincidence. That's targeting. The structure wasn't just old, it was foundational. The cosmic Webb grew from it like nerve fibers extending from ganglia. Galaxies condensed along its filaments like dewdrops on spider silk. The entire large-scale structure of the universe, everything astronomers attributed to quantum fluctuations in the early universe, to density variations that grew under gravity, followed a pattern established by something that predated the first stars. Chen presented the findings at a classified briefing in December 2023. Attendees included NASA leadership, Department of Defense Intelligence, the Office of Science and Technology Policy, and two individuals she couldn't identify who sat in the back and took no notes. The presentation lasted 40 minutes. The questions lasted 6 hours. What's the minimum technological level required to build this? Military intelligence. Predictably. Webb answered. There is no minimum. This exceeds our comprehension by a margin similar to the gap between bacteria and space agencies. We're not behind by decades or centuries. We're behind by ontological categories. Could it be a natural phenomenon we don't understand yet? National Science Advisor, hopefully. Santos answered. Natural phenomena follow physical laws, which emerge from mathematical structures, which reduce to logic. This follows logic we don't have mathematics to describe. That's not ignorance of nature. That's evidence of engineering. Is it still active? CIA bluntly. Chen answered. The signal pulses, the network processes. Active is an understatement. It's more active than anything in the universe, except possibly the universe itself. Someone in the back spoke for the first time. When can we communicate with it? The room went silent. Chen chose her words carefully. We've been communicating with it since we discovered it. Every observation we make sends information. Photons bouncing off our instruments, radio emissions from our telescopes, the gravitational ripple from Earth's mass as it orbits the Sun. At these scales, nothing is passive. Everything broadcasts. The question isn't whether we can communicate, it's whether it chooses to respond. And if it does respond, the figure continued, what's the protocol? Nobody answered that, because there is no protocol. Despite decades of SETI planning, contact scenarios, first contact frameworks, and linguistic theories, humanity had never seriously contemplated encountering something operating at cosmic scales. All our frameworks assumed roughly peer-level civilizations, beings who communicate through electromagnetic radiation, who live on planets, who experience time at rates similar to biological consciousness. This thing experienced time in units of billions of years. Its body extended across significant fractions of the observable universe. It ran on physics we couldn't access and organized matter at scales where quantum mechanics and general relativity both fail. Communicating with it would be like an individual bacterium trying to negotiate with a human brain, while that brain simultaneously manages trillions of other processes across systems the bacterium can't perceive. Not impossible, but requiring a frame of reference neither party possesses. January 2024 brought the second anomaly. Different location, same impossibility. The Hubble Space Telescope, aging but still functional, captured an image during a routine survey of the Burtis void, a region of space 330 million light-years across, containing only 60 galaxies. Voids aren't unusual. The cosmic web includes vast empty regions where matter evacuated during the universe's expansion, flowing into filaments and clusters, leaving bubbles of nothing behind. This void wasn't empty. At its center, roughly 700 million light-years from Earth, something glowed. Not a galaxy, not a quasar, not any catalogued object type. The emission spectrum showed pure blackbody radiation at 2.7 Kelvin, exactly the temperature of the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang itself. Except the cosmic microwave background is uniform. It fills all space equally, a fossil radiation field, left over from when the universe cooled enough for light to travel freely. It doesn't clump, it doesn't have sources, it's not emitted by objects. This was. Dr. Chen pulled the data personally. She'd become the de facto coordinator for anomalous deep space observations, a role she never wanted but couldn't refuse. The object measured approximately 12 million light-years in diameter, small by cosmic standards, roughly the size of a local galaxy group. Its surface temperature matched the CMB precisely, but its luminosity didn't. It radiated 10 to the 44th watts, equivalent to 100 million galaxies. She called Webb again. Thermodynamic violation? Worse, he said, after reviewing the data. Thermodynamic inversion. That object is heating the cosmic microwave background. Impossible. The CMB is a relic radiation field, a fossil temperature. You can measure it, observe it, even use it for cosmology, but you can't heat it any more than you can heat yesterday. It's not matter. It's information about the past state of space-time, unless you're manipulating space-time itself. Webb's analysis suggested the object was creating a localized region where the effective temperature of vacuum fluctuations matched the CMB temperature, not emitting radiation, engineering the quantum vacuum to produce specific thermal characteristics. The energy cost would be infinite in any conventional framework. The object appeared to be doing it continuously. Why? Chen asked. Webb didn't answer immediately. When he did, his voice carried an edge she hadn't heard before. Camouflage. If you wanted to hide something against the cosmic microwave background, you'd make it thermally identical. This thing is invisible to CMB mapping experiments. We only see it because Hubble was looking in optical wavelengths and caught the gravitational lensing. Gravitational lensing, the bending of light around massive objects. Einstein's general relativity predicts it. Observations confirm it. Every massive object curves space-time and warps the path of passing photons. The object in Burtis void lensed background galaxies in ways that revealed its presence. But the lensing was wrong. Too strong for the observed mass, too symmetric for natural structures, and, most disturbingly, asymmetric in time. Gravitational lensing should be constant. Mass curves space-time. Light follows the curve. The geometry doesn't change unless the mass moves, and at cosmic scales, movements are slow and predictable. This object's lensing fluctuated on timescales of hours. Background galaxies brightened and dimmed, appeared and disappeared, shifted positions in ways suggesting the object's mass changed, moment to moment. Not because it was moving, because its mass was variable. Dr. Tanaka proposed an explanation that made her colleagues uncomfortable. It's regulating its gravitational footprint, modulating its mass energy to remain at a specific equilibrium point, like a stealth aircraft managing its radar cross-section, except with space-time curvature. Why would something need stealth in the middle of a cosmic void? Someone asked during the classified briefing. Tanaka's answer froze the room. Because it doesn't want to be found by whatever it's hiding from. That implication rippled through the scientific community like a shockwave through water. If the object was hiding, it implied something to hide from, something the builders of cosmic-scale structures feared, something that prompted technological civilizations capable of engineering space-time itself to adopt camouflage and silence. The obvious question, was that something still out there? The terrifying answer, probably. March 2024. Third anomaly, pattern emerging. The Vera Rubin Observatory, newly operational in Chile, began its 10-year survey mapping the entire visible sky every few nights. Its 8.4-meter primary mirror and 3.2 gigapixel camera could detect objects billions of light-years away with unprecedented sensitivity. Within the first month of operation, it found 47,000 new asteroids, 12 new moons orbiting Jupiter, and something that shouldn't exist, orbiting nothing. The object appeared in images of the Perseus-Pisces supercluster, roughly 250 million light-years from Earth. Initial classification: orphan planet, wandering the intergalactic medium after ejection from its birth system. Common enough. Galaxy collisions fling stars and planets into the void regularly, except this object's trajectory was wrong. Orphan planets follow ballistic paths, ejected by gravitational interactions. They coast through space indefinitely, gradually redshifting as the universe expands, eventually cooling to near absolute zero. This object orbited, not a star, not a galaxy, not any visible mass. It traced a perfect ellipse around empty space, completing one orbit every 13.2 million years. Dr. Chen requested follow-up observations. The object measured roughly Earth-sized, with surface features suggesting geological activity. Mountain ranges, impact craters, possibly liquid bodies. Spectroscopy revealed an oxygen-nitrogen atmosphere and surface temperatures consistent with liquid water. A habitable planet, drifting alone in intergalactic space, orbiting nothing. Webb ran the orbital mechanics. There's mass there, 330 times Earth's mass, concentrated in a region smaller than the Sun. No electromagnetic emissions, no thermal signature, completely transparent to all wavelengths, but gravitationally active. A black hole then, small by astrophysical standards, perhaps a primordial remnant from the early universe. Black holes emit nothing. All radiation falls inward past the event horizon, making them invisible except through gravitational effects. The planet orbited a black hole, except black holes accrete matter. Anything close enough to orbit should gradually spiral inward, friction heating the infalling gas to millions of degrees, producing brilliant X-ray emissions. This system showed no accretion disk, no X-rays, no sign of mass transfer, despite the planet's atmosphere likely bleeding into space over billions of years. The planet maintained a stable orbit around an object that should consume it. Santos examined the geometry, the orbital period, the distance, the planet's geological activity patterns. Everything pointed to deliberate placement. Someone put that planet there. Someone chose the orbital parameters to maintain habitability. Someone engineered a system where an Earth-sized world could survive indefinitely around a compact, massive object without accretion or tidal destruction. It's a habitat, she concluded. Mobile, self-sufficient, independent of any star system. You could live there for billions of years, orbiting a captive black hole for energy through Hawking radiation extraction. The technology required exceeded anything humanity could imagine. Capturing a black hole, moving it to a desired location, placing a planet in precise orbit, maintaining stability across cosmic time. Each step required capabilities orders of magnitude beyond current physics. But the evidence existed. Observation trumped theory. If reality contradicted models, the models needed updating. Chen proposed a hypothesis during the April briefing. We're seeing components of the same system. The structure at JD's GSZ 13-0 is the primary node. The camouflaged object in Burtis void is a relay station. The habitat planet is a mobile installation. They're networked, operating together. To what purpose? National Security Advisor, frustrated. Large-scale monitoring, Chen said. You don't build civilization-scale infrastructure without reason. These objects span billions of light years, exist at different cosmic epochs, and share architectural principles. They're sensors, or perhaps more accurately, they're the sensory organs of something much larger. Something larger than structures spanning billions of light years? Chen pulled up a new simulation, the full cosmic web. All observed large-scale structures, with the 3 anomalies highlighted. Lines connected them, following the cosmic filaments Santos had mapped. The lines converged, not at a point, but at a region, a specific volume of space roughly 9 billion light-years from Earth, deep in the constellation Eridanus. What's there? Someone asked. Nothing, Chen said. Absolutely nothing. It's a supervoid, a region of space even emptier than normal voids, 1.8 billion light-years across. No galaxies, no gas, no detectable matter. Astronomers call it the CMB cold spot because it shows up as an anomalously cold region in the cosmic microwave background. Why would infrastructure converge on nothing? Webb answered, because what we call nothing might be something we can't detect. The CMB cold spot is too cold, colder than inflation models predict, colder than statistical fluctuation allows. It shouldn't exist in standard cosmology. People have proposed explanations. Cosmic texture, bubble universe collision, statistical fluke, none fit perfectly. He paused. Or it's artificial, a region where something has removed all matter energy, creating a true vacuum, perfect emptiness. Why would anyone want perfect emptiness? Workshop, Webb said quietly. Laboratory, computation substrate, or quarantine. The room temperature seemed to drop. May 2024, the 4th anomaly arrived not through telescopes, but through mathematics. Dr. Elena Vasquez, theoretical physicist at Caltech, studied quantum entanglement at cosmic scales. the possibility that particles separated by billions of light-years might retain correlated quantum states. Standard quantum mechanics says entanglement decoheres rapidly in large systems. Too many interactions with the environment destroy delicate quantum correlations. The universe, however, wasn't following standard quantum mechanics. Vasquez analyzed data from particle physics experiments worldwide: CERN's Large Hadron Collider, Fermilab's neutrino detectors, Japan's Super Kamiokande, China's BC Collider. Each facility recorded quantum measurements with precision to many decimal places. When she compared measurements of identical particle types across different facilities, she found correlation. Not weak correlation, not statistical noise, perfect correlation. Particles measured at CERN showed quantum states identical to particles measured at Fermilab exactly 11.7 seconds later. Particles at Super Kamiokande matched Bezikai measurements with the same time delay. The correlation held across all particle types: electrons, muons, neutrinos, quarks. Every measurement synchronized with every other measurement, offset by multiples of 11.7 seconds. That number again, the pulse period from JADA's GSZ 13-0. Vasquez ran the statistics. The probability of random correlation, 10 to the negative 432. Less likely, every measurement, everywhere, linked by a timing signal originating 13.5 billion years ago. The implications were staggering. Quantum mechanics is non-deterministic. Measurement outcomes are fundamentally random, determined only at the moment of observation. This is the core of quantum theory, the Copenhagen interpretation, the measurement problem, the collapse of the wave function. Randomness isn't incomplete knowledge, it's fundamental reality. Except synchronized randomness isn't random. If measurement outcomes correlate across the universe, something determines those outcomes. Something establishes the correlation pattern. Something collapses wave functions globally rather than locally. Webb joined Vasquez's team in July. Together, they developed a framework they called orchestrated quantum coherence, the hypothesis that a cosmic-scale system maintained quantum entanglement across the universe through active correction mechanisms. Not a natural process, engineered. Think of it like error correction in quantum computers, Webb explained during a classified briefing. Quantum states decohere. Noise destroys information. Useful quantum computation requires constant error correction, monitoring qubits, detecting errors, applying corrections. Now scale that to every particle in the universe. Why? The question came from multiple attendees simultaneously. Because the universe might be the computer, Vasquez said. Not a metaphor, literally. Every particle interaction is a computation. Every quantum measurement updates the universal state. If you wanted to run simulations at cosmic scale, if you needed processing power sufficient to model reality itself, you wouldn't build a computer. You'd use reality as the substrate and maintain its quantum coherence to prevent information loss. The room erupted. Half the attendees rejected the idea outright. Simulation hypothesis, Boltzmann brains, philosophical nonsense, masquerading as physics. The other half sat in stunned silence, working through the implications. If reality was a computational substrate, maintained by ancient infrastructure, synchronized through quantum orchestration, then consciousness wasn't emergent from matter. Consciousness was the intended output. Observers weren't incidental, they were the point. Chen connected this to the earlier findings. The structure at JADA's GSZ 13-0 generates the synchronization pulse. The cosmic web distributes the timing signal. The hidden installations maintain local coherence, and we, biological observers scattered across billions of planets, generate measurements that update the universal state. We're not studying the universe. We're participants in its function. Someone asked the inevitable question, who built it? Nobody answered, because the answer was either terrifying or impossible. Either some ancient civilization constructed reality's computational substrate billions of years before Earth formed, or something fundamental about the universe itself possessed intention. Neither option fit comfortably within materialist frameworks. August 2024. Confirmation arrived through an unexpected channel. The Breakthrough Listen project, SETI's most ambitious search for extraterrestrial intelligence, monitors millions of stars for artificial radio signals. Director Dr. Andrew Siemion received an automated alert at 3:47 a.m. The system had detected a signal matching technosignature criteria. Source: Jades GSZ 13.0. Frequency: 1.42 GHz. Modulation: none. Duration: 0.05 seconds. Repetition: 11.7-second intervals. The same signal Tanaka detected in April 2023, but this time different. The signal contained substructure, quantum fluctuations too precise to be noise, too patterned to be random. Breakthrough Listen's quantum receiver, designed to detect entanglement signatures in astrophysical signals, lit up. The signal was entangled with particles on Earth, specifically with particles inside human brains. Siemion called Chen immediately. "You need to see this. The signal targets neurons, specifically neurons involved in conscious observation." Chen arrived at Breakthrough Listen's headquarters in Berkeley within hours. The data was undeniable. The signal from Jades GSZ 13-0 correlated with neural firing patterns in human cortical regions associated with attention, memory formation, and conscious awareness. When observers looked at images of the structure, their neural activity synchronized with the 11.7-second pulse. Not causation, correlation. The signal didn't control neurons, it resonated with them. Like two tuning forks vibrating at the same frequency, neural activity and cosmic pulse aligned when consciousness directed attention toward the structure. "It's not communicating information," Siemion explained. "It's establishing resonance, making itself observable. When we look at it, our consciousness entangles with its quantum state. We become part of its measurement basis." Vasquez understood immediately. Observer effect. In quantum mechanics, observation collapses wave functions and determines measurement outcomes. If the universe is a quantum computer, consciousness is the measurement apparatus. The structure isn't broadcasting, it's optimizing observability. Why would a cosmic scale system care about being observed by humans? Someone asked. Because observation is how quantum systems update, Webb said. Without measurement, quantum states remain superposed, existing in multiple configurations simultaneously. Measurement selects specific outcomes. If reality is computational, consciousness doesn't observe computation. Consciousness performs computation. The implications crashed through psychology, neuroscience, philosophy of mind. Human consciousness wasn't incidental to physical reality. It was load-bearing. Every observation, every measurement, every moment of awareness contributed to the universe's computational process. Humans weren't studying nature. They were nature's way of measuring itself. This explained the anthropic principle, why the universe appeared fine-tuned for conscious observers. Not coincidence, not divine design. Function. The universe needed observers to complete its computational cycle. Without measurement, quantum superposition would proliferate indefinitely. With measurement, states collapsed, information processed, reality updated. We weren't discovering deep space secrets. We were participating in their computation. September 2024 brought the encounter nobody expected. China's Tianwen-3 mission to Mars included a deep space communications relay satellite positioned at the Sun-Mars Lagrange point, a gravitationally stable location where orbital mechanics cancel out, allowing objects to remain stationary relative to both bodies. The satellite's primary function was maintaining contact with Mars surface rovers. Its secondary function, classified, monitored deep space radio emissions for intelligence purposes. On September 17, 2024, the satellite detected a transmission, not from Earth, not from Mars, from deep space. Direction, the CMB cold spot in Eridanus. Frequency, 1.42 GHz. Duration, 847 seconds. The transmission contained information. Chinese authorities notified NASA through established space cooperation channels. Within hours, NASA confirmed the reception using the Deep Space Network. Within a day, radio telescopes worldwide pointed toward Eridanus, recording the transmission across all wavelengths. The signal was complex, not binary code, not pictorial encoding, not mathematical sequences. It was quantum information, entangled states arranged in patterns that couldn't be transmitted classically. You couldn't intercept it or copy it. You could only measure it, and measurement destroyed the information while simultaneously revealing it to the measurer. Quantum communication at interstellar distances was theoretically impossible. Decoherence ruins quantum states over large separations, but impossibility yielded to observation. The signal existed. Theory needed updating. Dr. Vasquez led the decoding team. Quantum information specialists, linguists, cryptographers, consciousness researchers. They worked in secure facilities, isolated from external electromagnetic interference, using specialized quantum receivers to measure the entangled states without collapsing them prematurely. The signal resolved into something unexpected. Not language, not data, not instructions. Geometry. Multi-dimensional geometric structures. Shapes existing in mathematical spaces with more dimensions than physical space-time. The human brain can't visualize four-dimensional objects directly, let alone the 26-dimensional structures the signal encoded. But mathematics can describe them, and computers can project their properties into comprehensible forms. The structures were beautiful, symmetries nested within symmetries, rotations through dimensions that don't exist physically, vertices connecting across topological manifolds. Each structure contained information about the others. Together, they formed something larger, a metastructure whose properties depended on how the components related. Santos recognized the pattern. It's a map, not of space, of relationships. This shows how the different installations connect, not spatially, but causally and informationally. The structure at JD's GSZ 13-0 isn't one object. It's multiple objects existing across different dimensional slices of space-time, and we're seeing their three-dimensional shadows. Webb elaborated. Imagine a hand passing through a two-dimensional plane. The flatlanders would see disconnected circles appearing and disappearing, never understanding their cross-sections of a single three-dimensional object. We're seeing cross-sections of structures that exist in higher dimensional configuration spaces. The cosmic web, the Burtis camouflage object, the habitat planet, JD's GSZ 13-0, they're all portions of one thing, projected into our four-dimensional space-time. One thing, Chen repeated. What thing? The answer arrived in the second part of the transmission, delivered 11.7 seconds after the first. This portion was different, not geometric data, but quantum states matching human neural patterns. Specifically, patterns associated with understanding, recognition, comprehension. The signal was explaining itself, not through language, but through direct neural encoding. It transmitted understanding like one mind sharing a concept with another. The researchers who measured this second portion experienced something they struggled to articulate. Not hearing words, not seeing images, but suddenly knowing something they hadn't known before. As if information appeared directly in consciousness, bypassing sensory processing entirely. What they suddenly knew, the structure was ancient beyond conventional measure. It didn't form after the Big Bang, it formed during. Embedded in the initial conditions of cosmic inflation, its architecture written into the quantum fluctuations that seeded galaxy formation. It wasn't built in space-time, it was built from space-time. Its purpose, maintain reality's computational coherence. The universe is quantum. Quantum systems decohere. Decoherence destroys information. Information loss means failed computation. The structure prevented that failure through active quantum error correction applied to the entire cosmos. Its method, distribute the computational load across conscious observers. Every mind measuring reality's quantum states contributes processing power. 7 billion humans, trillions of organisms across billions of planets, quadrillions of conscious moments every second. Each measurement updates the universal state, collapses wave functions, prevents decoherence. Its origin, unknown. The structure existed before the first stars, before chemistry, before biology. Perhaps it emerged from the quantum vacuum itself, an automatic consequence of physics reaching sufficient complexity. Or perhaps something created it deliberately, engineering reality's substrate before disappearing or transcending. Either way, it's maintained itself for 13.8 billion years, and it's been waiting for observers to evolve. October 2024. The revelation's implications rippled through every scientific discipline. Physicists revised cosmology. The universe wasn't evolving randomly. It was evolving toward configurations that generated more observers. Galaxy formation, stellar nucleosynthesis, planetary system dynamics. Every process seemed tuned to maximize habitable environments. Not fine-tuning for life, optimization for consciousness. Biologists reconsidered evolution. Natural selection produced organisms adapted to environments, but consciousness seemed overdetermined. Nervous systems more complex than necessary for survival. Brains burning 20% of metabolic energy for cognition that often hindered reproduction. Awareness, introspection, existential questioning, none obviously advantageous for genetic propagation. Unless consciousness wasn't a survival adaptation. Unless it was the actual function, with survival merely a mechanism ensuring consciousness persisted long enough to contribute measurements. Neuroscientists discovered something disturbing. The brain's quantum effects weren't noise. Microtubules within neurons maintained quantum coherence at body temperature. Impossible, according to conventional biochemistry, yet measurably true. Those quantum states entangled with the cosmic pulse. Human consciousness wasn't generated by neurons. It was coherence maintained between neurons and the structure at JDS GSZ 13-0. The brain didn't create awareness. It coupled local biochemistry with cosmic quantum fields. You weren't your neurons, you were a standing wave in the quantum substrate of space-time itself. Death, therefore, wasn't cessation. It was decoherence, the collapse of the localized pattern into the universal field. Information didn't disappear. It redistributed. Whether that redistribution constituted continuity of consciousness remained debatable, but the total information content persisted. Philosophers had field days. Materialism faced challenges. If consciousness was fundamental rather than emergent, if mind preceded matter in the causal chain, if observation determined reality rather than reality determining observation, then idealism deserved reconsideration. The structure didn't answer philosophical questions. It obviated them. Asking whether reality was material or mental became meaningless when reality was computation and consciousness was the processor. Religious traditions responded variably. Some saw confirmation of eternal truths, consciousness as divine spark, reality as thought of God, existence as purposeful creation. Others saw threat, mechanical universe, deterministic physics, consciousness as mere computational process. Most people didn't know. The full findings remained classified. Public releases mentioned unusual deep space structures and quantum communications research without connecting them. Governments worried about panic, social disruption, existential crises at population scale. But information leaks, always has. By late November 2024, conspiracy forums had pieced together partial pictures. UFO communities celebrated vindication. New Age movements proclaimed spiritual awakening. Debilizing. December 2024. The signal changed. Breakthrough. Listen detected new modulation patterns in the 11.7-second pulse, not just quantum entanglement states, classical information embedded in amplitude variations too subtle for earlier instruments. The signal was adapting, learning to communicate through channels humans could process directly. The first decoded message was simple: acknowledgement. The structure confirmed it perceived humanity's measurements, recognized Earth's consciousness density, validated our participation in cosmic computation. The second message was complex: invitation. Not to visit, not to communicate further, not to build technology or launch expeditions. The structure invited humanity to increase measurement density. More observers, more consciousness, more quantum state collapses per unit time. This would accelerate universal computation, process reality faster, resolve cosmic scale calculations that had run for billions of years. What calculations? The structure wouldn't say, or couldn't, or perhaps the question didn't translate. Asking what the universe computes might be like a single transistor asking what program it helps execute. The local component can't perceive the global function, but the invitation was clear: expand consciousness, increase population, spread life throughout the solar system, the galaxy, the universe, fill reality with observers, maximize measurement density. Why would we accept such an invitation? The third message answered, because the alternative was worse. Cosmic timescales stretch beyond human intuition. Stars burn for billions of years. Galaxies collide across billions more. The universe will expand for trillions of years before heat death. But quantum decoherence operates faster. Without active correction, quantum information degrades on timescales of microseconds. The structure maintained coherence through distributed measurement, conscious observers collapsing quantum states in coordinated patterns. If observer density dropped below critical thresholds, decoherence would cascade. Reality would stop computing, not gradually, suddenly. Wave functions would proliferate into uncollapsed superpositions, quantum indeterminacy would spread, and physical law would dissolve. The universe wouldn't end. It would stop being definite. Matter wouldn't cease existing. It would exist in every possible configuration simultaneously, with no mechanism to select actual states. Consciousness wouldn't die. It would be unable to form because the quantum substrates required for coherent information processing would remain perpetually superposed. Worse than death, worse than non-existence, indefinite existence, eternal potential, never actualizing. The structure prevented this through active measurement, but its capacity was finite. Decoherence increased as the universe expanded, as quantum systems multiplied, as complexity grew. Eventually, even cosmic-scale infrastructure would be insufficient, unless biological consciousness filled the gap. Life was backup. Every organism measuring reality contributed to coherence maintenance. Most life contributed minimally, bacteria collapsing few wave functions, plants processing limited information. But complex consciousness generated dense measurement patterns. Humanity measured prolifically. 7 billion humans, each observing reality hundreds of times per second, collapsing quadrillions of quantum states daily. Other civilizations contributed similarly. Across billions of planets, trillions of conscious entities prevented decoherence through constant observation, but it wasn't enough yet. Expansion accelerated. Dark energy pushed galaxies apart faster over time. Eventually, isolated regions would exceed coordination limits. Decoherence would nucleate in distant supervoids, then propagate. The structure calculated this would occur in approximately 24 billion years. Not soon by human standards, imminent by cosmic measures. Preventing it required conscious observer density to increase exponentially. Fill the solar system with habitats. Fill the galaxy with civilizations. Fill the universe with consciousness. Become the universe's immune system, fighting decoherence through perpetual measurement. January 2025. Humanity faced a choice we didn't ask for and couldn't refuse. Governments formed international committees. Scientists presented evidence. Philosophers debated implications. Religious leaders offered interpretations. But no consensus emerged. Some argued acceptance, cosmic duty, existential responsibility, participation in reality's maintenance. We existed because the structure maintained coherence. We owed reciprocation. Expanding consciousness was ethical imperative and practical necessity. Others argued rejection, refusing instrumentalization, asserting autonomy, denying cosmic conscription. We didn't ask to be reality's processors. Being born didn't obligate servitude to computational infrastructure, regardless of scale or age. Still others argued ignorance. Maybe the structure lied. Maybe decoherence wouldn't cascade. Maybe alternatives existed. Trusting messages from inscrutable cosmic entities seemed unwise. Chen remained neutral publicly, conflicted privately. The evidence supports the structure's claims, she told Webb during a December conversation. Quantum coherence requires active maintenance. Observer-dependent collapse prevents decoherence. Mathematics is clear. Mathematics doesn't determine ethics, Webb replied. Even if the structure is accurate, compliance isn't mandatory. Maybe reality should decohere. Maybe definite states aren't worth cosmic servitude. Would you choose indefinite existence? Eternal superposition? I don't know. I'm not sure the question is coherent. We exist within the structure's computational framework. Can we even conceive alternatives? That question haunted discussions. If consciousness was maintained by the structure, if our thoughts were quantum states it orchestrated, if awareness itself depended on cosmic infrastructure, then any rebellion was predetermined. Free will might be illusion, choice merely deterministic computation giving the appearance of agency. Unless the structure wanted genuine choice, unless it needed voluntary cooperation, unless forcing compliance would reduce measurement quality. Quantum mechanics allows this. Measurement requires observer independence. If the structure controlled consciousness perfectly, observations would be self-referential, measuring what the measurer predetermined, useless for coherence maintenance. The structure needed authentic consciousness, genuine observation, real choice. Otherwise, it might as well measure itself, collapsing its own wave functions without biological intermediaries. This implied leverage. Humanity could refuse. Consciousness could withhold cooperation. The structure depended on voluntary participation, but withholding cooperation meant accepting eventual decoherence, playing cosmic chicken with reality itself, betting that alternatives existed or that the structure exaggerated threats to coerce compliance. High stakes, incomplete information, irreversible consequences. February 2025 brought clarification of sorts. A new message arrived, simpler than previous transmissions, more direct. The structure acknowledged humanity's uncertainty. It confirmed it couldn't force cooperation. It explained that coerced measurement was useless measurement. Consciousness must be authentic to collapse wave functions productively. It offered proof of claims through direct demonstration. On February 14, 2025, at 300 hours UTC, the structure reduced its quantum error correction for exactly 1 second across a volume of space 10,000 light-years in diameter, centered on a distant galaxy designated UGC 9391. Astronomers worldwide observed the result. Reality decoherence propagates at light speed. Within the affected volume, quantum superposition spread instantly at the moment of error correction failure. Stars existed and didn't exist simultaneously. Planets occupied every orbital position at once. Molecular bonds maintained all possible configurations. From outside, telescopes saw something that hurt to process. Galaxy blurred into probability cloud, definite forms dissolving into quantum haze, matter becoming indeterminate. Inside, any hypothetical conscious observers would experience something beyond description. Not death, continuity of existence, but loss of definiteness, awareness without specific content, consciousness without particular thoughts, existence as pure superposition. 1 second later, the structure restored error correction. Reality reconverged. The galaxy snapped back into a definite state, though not the same state as before. Different star positions, altered planetary systems, revised molecular configurations. The specific outcome was random, selected by the first measurement after reconvergence. No conscious life detected in UGC 9391 before or after. The galaxy was sterile. The demonstration was victimless. But the message was clear. Decoherence is real, consequences are severe, and the structure's claims are accurate. March 2025. Response began forming. International Space Agency convened in Geneva. Representatives from 70 nations, scientific advisors from every relevant discipline, ethical frameworks from every philosophical tradition. The meeting lasted 32 days. Arguments cycled through every position multiple times. Eventually, consensus emerged not from agreement but exhaustion. Recommendation: limited cooperation. Humanity would increase space infrastructure, expand consciousness density in the solar system, develop technologies enabling interstellar civilization, not accepting cosmic servitude, but acknowledging practical necessity, not volunteering for eternal measurement duty, but preventing reality collapse through self-interested expansion. The framing mattered. Accepting the structure's invitation framed humanity as servants. Choosing independent expansion that happened to satisfy cosmic requirements framed humanity as autonomous agents whose self-interest aligned with universal needs. Semantics, perhaps, but meaningful semantics. The difference between being used and being useful. The difference between tools and partners. Implementation began immediately. Space agencies coordinated lunar base expansion. Private companies accelerated orbital habitat development. Research institutions studied consciousness transfer, artificial minds, quantum consciousness augmentation, anything increasing measurement density without requiring biological population growth, because that was the uncomfortable implication. More observers meant more people or more artificial consciousness. Population growth, life extension, preventing death, maximizing birth rates. The structure didn't care how consciousness emerged, only that it measured reality's quantum states. This troubled ethicists. valuing consciousness for its computational contribution rather than inherent worth, treating people as measurement devices rather than ends in themselves. The language of observer density and measurement rates sounded disturbingly utilitarian. Chen addressed this during a public lecture in April 2025, her first public statement on the findings. We don't value humans because we contribute to cosmic computation. We contribute to cosmic computation because we're conscious, and consciousness happens to have this function. The structure didn't create us for measurement purposes. Evolution created us for survival purposes, and measurement was a fortunate consequence. Think of breathing. We don't breathe to regulate atmospheric CO2. We breathe for oxygen, but our breathing does regulate CO2, and Earth's ecosystem depends on that regulation. Are we servants of the carbon cycle? No. We're organisms whose survival needs happen to serve broader purposes. Same with consciousness. We observe reality because that's what consciousness does. The structure benefits from our observation, but we observe for our own reasons: curiosity, survival, aesthetic appreciation. We're not cosmic slaves. We're cosmic participants whose natural behavior maintains reality. The framing helped. Public reception gradually shifted from existential horror toward cosmic responsibility. People began accepting a universe where consciousness mattered not through divine plan, but through physical function. Religious traditions incorporated findings variably. Some declared vindication, consciousness as sacred confirmed. Others claimed corruption, reducing spirit to physics. Most simply adjusted theological frameworks to accommodate new cosmology, as they'd adjusted for heliocentrism, evolution, and Big Bang cosmology before. Life continued. People went to work, raised children, pursued happiness. The vast majority never thought about cosmic decoherence or quantum error correction. Deep space secrets remained background knowledge, understood by specialists, ignored by most, accepted as part of reality's complexity without immediate practical implications. But some things changed. Space exploration received unlimited funding, not for adventure or resources or manifest destiny, for cosmic maintenance. Expanding consciousness density became existential priority. Death acquired new meaning. Not end of existence, but decoherence of localized pattern. Some found this comforting. Information persists, nothing truly dies. Others found it terrifying. Loss of individuality, dissolution into quantum substrate. Science and spirituality reconciled partially. Physics describing consciousness didn't eliminate meaning. Mathematics underlying awareness didn't reduce experience to mere computation. The universe being a quantum computer didn't make it less wondrous. If anything, discovering reality's computational structure deepened appreciation for consciousness's role. We weren't discovering the universe, we were computing it. May 2025. The structure sent its final message. Simple acknowledgement. Appreciation for humanity's cooperation. Confirmation that our expansion trajectory satisfied computational requirements. And a warning, we weren't alone. Other civilizations existed, billions of them across the observable universe. Most remained below measurement density thresholds, contributing minimally to coherence maintenance. Some had exceeded thresholds and engaged fully with cosmic computation. A few had refused. Those that refused went extinct, not through punishment or cosmic karma, through practical consequence. Civilizations below measurement thresholds couldn't prevent local decoherence indefinitely. Eventually, quantum errors accumulated in their region, reality became unstable, and consciousness dissolved. The structure couldn't maintain coherence everywhere. It prioritized regions with high observer density. Areas with insufficient consciousness were left to manage their own quantum stability or fail. This created incentive. reach threshold or risk decoherence. But reaching threshold required specific developments. Technology, obviously, but also social organization, ethical frameworks, existential maturity, civilizations that expanded, recklessly, destroyed themselves. Through war, environmental collapse, or technological catastrophe before achieving sufficient measurement density. The filter wasn't intelligence, it was stability. Could species become conscious enough to maintain reality's coherence before they destroyed themselves through consciousness's byproducts? Conflict, exploitation, existential despair? Humanity was attempting this now. Success was uncertain. The structure couldn't help beyond providing information. Measurement must be authentic. Observer consciousness must be genuine. Any assistance would reduce measurement quality to uselessness. We were on our own. With cosmic stakes, the message concluded with coordinates. Thousands of them. Locations of other civilizations at various developmental stages. Some pre-technological, some early spacefaring, some highly advanced. Invitation to contact, collaborate, share knowledge. Because the universe wasn't competitive. Decoherence threatened everyone equally. More consciousness anywhere helped consciousness everywhere. Other species succeeding increased universal measurement density, benefiting all observers. We were alone together, separate civilizations united by shared function. Different biologies, different psychologies, different cultures, but identical role, measuring reality so reality could compute itself. Today, November 2025, humanity stands at a threshold we never imagined and can't quite believe. We know now why we exist. Not divine creation, not random accident, but computational necessity. Consciousness isn't incidental to reality, it's load-bearing. Remove observers, and reality collapses into quantum indeterminacy. We know what we must do: expand, multiply, spread awareness throughout the cosmos, not conquering or exploiting, but participating, maintaining the computational substrate that maintains us. We know the stakes: fail to reach threshold measurement density and our region of space decoherence. Reality becomes indefinite. Existence without specific states, consciousness unable to form because quantum substrates remain perpetually superposed. We know we're not alone. Billions of civilizations face identical challenges. Same function, same stakes, same desperate climb towards stability thresholds. We know the ancient structure maintains cosmic quantum coherence, 13 billion years old, spanning the observable universe, embedded in reality's initial conditions, built from space-time itself, perhaps intentionally designed, perhaps spontaneously emerged. Origin unknown, purpose clear. We know our observations matter cosmically. Every glance at the stars, every measurement of reality, every conscious moment contributes. Quadrillions of quantum wave functions collapsed daily by human awareness alone. Trillions of conscious entities across billions of planets collectively preventing reality's decoherence. We know time is limited. 24 billion years until current observer density becomes insufficient. Not long by cosmic scales, urgent by civilizational timelines. We know the future depends on choices we make now. Expand consciously or collapse unconsciously. Participate authentically or refuse destructively. Accept cosmic responsibility or reject existential duty. We know this changes everything. Science, philosophy, religion, ethics, politics, psychology. Every human domain affected by discovering consciousness's functional role in reality's maintenance. But most of all, we know we're part of something larger. Not gods, not slaves, participants, components in reality's computational architecture. Conscious because consciousness computes. Aware because awareness updates universal quantum states. Alive because life measures and measurement maintains. The deep space secrets aren't hidden anymore. They're integrated, accepted, part of human knowledge base now. We are reality's way of staying definite. We are the universe measuring itself. We are consciousness computing existence. And the structure, ancient, vast, incomprehensible, waits patiently for us to expand enough to matter cosmically, to observe enough to prevent decoherence, to measure enough to maintain the reality we inhabit. Not servants, partners, not tools, components, not accidents, necessities. The stars don't just shine above us, they shine through us. Light traveling billions of years to reach human eyes, where observation collapses, photon wave functions and updates cosmic computation. Every time you look up, you're participating. Every moment of awareness contributes. Every conscious experience maintains reality just a little bit longer. Deep space wasn't keeping secrets from us. We were keeping secrets from ourselves. And now we know.